So when most people talk about future-proof systems today, what we really mean or discuss is agentic proof or agentic ready. What's really great with a system like Bluestone PIM is that due to the architecture of how it's built, it's kind of by definition already optimized for agents to talk to it, and it's a very smooth transition into the agentic future. And a way to test this out and show this is just by showing how easy it is to build an MCP server for Bluestone. So this is something you can try yourself if you do some development with Claude Code or something like that. You can also contact me to get the repo to fork it and try this. By being built the way it is very convenient to work with agents towards Bluestone. So we're gonna look today at an example of a custom MCP server just built with not much time. It's a TypeScript server that do some authentication, and then we can build the features to talk to the PIM from there. And the good thing, obviously there is the official MCP server, but there will also be the need for custom MCP servers that you might want to build for your PIM, right? With more niche features, tone of voice, behaviors, and so on. So let's take a look at an example here. First, we're gonna look in the PIM. So now we're in the PIM UI, and this whole discussion kind of circles around this, right? How we now move more and more away from a UI and more into the agentic future, right? But the UI is still relevant, of course, so we want to check here what has been done, and then there are still things that we might want to use the UI for. Just looking here at some t-shirts, very simple example of this, and we have the green t-shirt here with an image, the other ones are lacking image. I'm gonna change the name here as well. I want to rename this published product to t-shirt green spring edition, something like that. Okay, so we have these products here. We can of course work with them, publish them, and so on. But now we're gonna switch over to the MCP chat experience. So this could be done in any client. So let's say ChatGPT, or even from an IDE like Cursor or VS Code. In this case, I'm gonna use Claude Chat. So here we are within Claude. It's Claude Desktop, and you can see that we are connected to this Bluestone PIM MCP. That is the unofficial MCP then. And you see I have a few tools here. I can create products, I can list catalogs. Kept it quite basic for now, just so we can focus on a few features. And then as we go, we can also, of course, add more features so the MCP can become more powerful. But we always want this control to be able to turn features on and off here. Okay, so now we are in the chat in Claude Desktop. I'm using Opus 4.7 that came a few days ago. I guess this video is gonna get outdated really fast with how quick this is moving. Anyways, here I can say list the catalogs I have in Bluestone PIM. Okay, so here the MCP has now, it's loaded some tools. We can also go in. This is just something that Claude offers, that you can see what it did here. It used the list catalogs request here, or basically the tool here to list catalogs, and we can also see the response. But it presents it in the chat here. So it says, you have 5 catalogs in Bluestone PIM. It's these 5, and it asks now, do you want to drill into any of them? This is part of the MCP behavior, right? What should it ask the user after listing catalogs and so on? It's something we can control when we design the MCP. In this case, I wanna look more at clothes. Into clothes. So now it's gonna use a different tool, which is list products in category. It's one of those tools we saw in the overview of the MCP. And it's those 4 products that we also saw in the UI. So now you can see that the UI and the MCP is seeing the same things here. And we see the name change here. So the green spring edition, which is my update. This means we're looking at work state or draft data, not the published data, right? Now it's asking, do you want to add a new product to this catalog? I can say yes, add another color that we don't have yet. Let's see what it can do with this. Okay, it's want to create a black one, and it's asking as well if that's okay. That's a good choice. Okay, this is also MCP behavior, right? How much should it ask versus be autonomous? In this case, it's asking me, and it says it's created the black t-shirt. Here's the ID of that as well. And we can look later in the PIM UI to see this as well. Now I would like to look at the catalog again. Okay, so we get the latest list of products within the Claude's catalog. It's using the same tool. It's listing. Now it has 5 products, so this is correct. It's saying this is just added. Okay, list the published products in Claude's. Now we can see that it's only one product published in the Claude's category. It's this green t-shirt, and here you see that it uses the old name, the green t-shirt green, because we haven't published a change with the spring part of that name. Let's see here. It asks if we want to see the product image, which we could do, but I want to compare the published version with the draft version of this SKU. See if it will be able to do this. Okay, so this is a good overview then, and this is actually an example of that sometimes the chat interface can be superior to a UI. We get a nice table view here comparing the two, right? So the published version is t-shirt green, the draft is t-shirt green spring edition, the ID is the same, type is the same of course, state is different, and we also see some image information here. We maybe have to work on the tool a bit to present this in a nicer way. Yes, so that's an example of some things we can do already, and this is a very simple MCP server. But just the fact that Bluestone is built for this and for the agentic future is good to see, and it's also fun to play with these tools and enable them for users in your organization in the way that you want them to work. Thanks for watching.